Swadee ka. Thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand, FM 88, and on NBT World. It's a Monday, and the date is November 24th, and you're with me, Sandra Hanutsaha. Two newly appointed ministers have taken their oaths before His Majesty the King. On Sunday at 4:52 p.m., His Majesty the King granted an audience to Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha, who led two newly appointed members of the cabinet to take oaths before assuming their posts at the Her Royal Highness Princess Kalyani Wattana Gromalong Narathiwat Ratchanakarin meeting room on the 14th floor of Sirirat Hospital. The two ministers were Mr. Wisotsi Supan, Deputy Minister of Finance, and Mr. Amnoy Patise, Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives. Mr. Ampon Kiti Ampon, the Secretary General of the Cabinet, was also present at the ceremony. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward, and now on to today's headlines. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has indicated that the government will plow on with its schemes to help farmers to address the economic issues and to improve the people's quality of life. The comment was made during the weekly broadcast program Returning Happiness to the People, during which he said the main goal of the government's economic policies is to improve the living standards of the people by increasing their income, reducing the cost of living, and offering accessible medical services, to name just a few. The Prime Minister also stressed that to effectively administer the nation, the government must have transparency, saying that its works should be easily inspected and evaluated in order to develop the nation in accordance with the planned visions and missions.
สำหรับการช่วยเหลือเกษตรกรในเรื่องเงินอุดหนุนหรือสินเชื่อดอกเบี้ยต่ำต่างๆนั้นเป็นการแก้ไขปัญหาเพียงชั่วคราวยังไม่ยั่งยืนรัฐบาลจะต้องใช้วิธีการทั้งรัฐศาสตร์และนิติศาสตร์ในการขับเคลื่อนประชาชนต้องปรับตัวเรียนรู้มีกระบวนการที่ดีเป็นระบบเพื่อให้เกิดการร่วมมือกันคงไม่ใช่การรวมกลุ่มเพื่อสร้างเงื่อนไขแต่เพียงอย่างเดียวนะครับเป็นการรวมกลุ่มกันช่วยกันคิดช่วยกันทำช่วยกันแก้ไขมันจะทำให้สามารถทำให้เกิดสิ่งที่ดีๆแล้วแก้ไขปัญหาต่างๆเหล่านั้นได้สิ่งใดที่เป็นปัญหาก็เตรียมการป้องกันแก้ไขไว้ก่อนหากยังมีความไม่ไว้วางใจซึ่งกันและกันไม่เชื่อใจกันยังมีความหวาดระแวงซึ่งกันและกันอยู่โดยคนบางกลุ่มก็ยังไม่ค่อยจะปรับทัศนคตินะครับปัญหาต่างๆเหล่านั้นคงแก้ไขไม่ได้ทั้งวันนี้และในอนาคตด้วยเราจะเปลี่ยนแปลงอะไรไม่ได้เลยสิ่งเหล่านั้นก็ยังคงเป็นปัญหาเป็นความขัดแย้งเป็นอุปสรรคในการพัฒนาประเทศในระยะต่อไปนะครับ
General Prayut also said that the assistance fund schemes for rice farmers and rubber planters are only short-term solutions, adding that the government was formulating better ones through political and legal approaches. Commerce Minister General Chachai Salikanya says the government will step up cooperation with the private sector, particularly the Thai Chamber of Commerce, in order to apply a stronger push to economic development. Speaking at a seminar entitled Driving Trade Policy with the participation of the private sector, General Chachai said the boosting of cooperation would benefit the existing four economic strategies of the government. They are the restructuring of the production sector in the modern agricultural era, labor reform to create quality manpower that fits market demand, boosting work efficiency of the civil service and state enterprises, and lastly, elimination of corruption. General Chachai also said ASEAN is a potential market for Thailand, but in order to fully exploit it, the government must develop Thai entrepreneurs' capabilities to access the market. Investment must also be made to improve logistic infrastructure, as better connectivity could reduce the logistic costs to 13% of the GDP instead of 15%. Currently, the Thai government is in the process of negotiating with its Chinese counterpart on a project to develop dual rail tracks and a multimodal transport system. The two sides are expected to reach a final decision in December, and construction is expected to begin in 2016. The Thai Chamber of Commerce and the Chiang Rai Chamber of Commerce arranged a seminar to brainstorm solutions to the country's economic problems and discuss how to increase its competitiveness. Interior Minister Anupong Paujinda presided over the seminar, attended by representatives of chambers of commerce nationwide. It was held at the Ma Fa Luang University in Chiang Rai Province from the 21st to the 23rd of November. Results of the seminar will be submitted to the Prime Minister for consideration and implementation. General Anupong also presented the Sampao Tong Awards to the provincial governors who supported the work of chambers of commerce this year. The seminar's participants numbered 1,500 people. Representatives of government units and the media also participated in the event. The Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives has stepped up its measures to prevent the Ebola virus from reaching Thailand through imported wild animals. According to Chawalit Chukajon, Permanent Secretary of Agriculture and Cooperatives, the ministry will ask the Cabinet to include Ebola into the Animal Contagious Disease Act so as to empower ministry officials to control the import of live animals and carcasses into the country. The Livestock Department has been ordered to suspend the import of animals and carcasses from African countries, with the exception of South Africa. It is also to be on the lookout for the smuggling of those items into the nation, especially through border checkpoints nationwide. The Livestock Department has rated its laboratory and personnel to analyze samples of animal tissue and excretion for Ebola virus, and also for them to be able to safely handle the virus if found. The National Reform Council Committee on Local Administrative Affairs is yet to discuss the details of the reform plans due to the complexity of the issue. According to Chair of the National Reform Council, or NRC, Committee on Local Administrative Affairs, Pongpayom Wasaputi, a former Interior Ministry Permanent Secretary, the committee has not discussed in detail the planned reforms for Thailand's local administration. Mr. Pongpayom conceded that local administrative reforms are complicated even after the government's decentralization efforts in the past years. Nevertheless, he believes that such a reform will be attainable if the central government really steps back and allows local administrative offices to work independently and with a high level of public participation. Mr. Pongpayom added that while the NRC will be able to come up with the directives to complete the reforms within the next 12 months, the success of the overhaul will largely depend on the civil society participation to help solve any problems faced by the people of Thailand. The Dairy Cooperative Federation of Thailand has urged the government to give a green light to a raw milk price hike before year's end. According to the Federation, the Milk Board has agreed to adjust upwards the price of raw milk by 2 baht and 23 satang per liter. However, the board's motion needs approval from the cabinet before it can be implemented. The Federation thus asked for the approval before the end of this year as a New Year's gift for the nation's over 18,000 dairy farmers. The Milk Board suggested that the government come up with an assistance scheme that pays dairy farmers 1,000 baht per cow, with a limit of 15,000 baht each. The board also urged the government to promote milk consumption among Thais, pushing it up from 13 liters to 26 liters per person per year as a way to promote dairy farming in the long run. Mr. Wanlop Suwandi, chief advisor to the Bangkok governor, led a team of Bangkok officials, police, and soldiers to inspect the orderliness of footpaths on 3 roads at the center of Ratanakosin Island after the 2-month leniency for traders and hawkers ended. The inspection covered Na Pralan Road, Na Pratat Road, as well as Maharat Road from Tha Tien to Tha Chang Pier. Mr. Wanlop said the reorganization followed Bangkok residents' complaints of traffic jams and inconveniences to use the footpaths caused by hawkers and stalls on those footpaths. Mr. Wanlop said footpath orderliness was restored as part of the Ratanakosin Island reorganization of the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration. He said the BMA had given vendors 2 months to move away before the deadline on November 20th. As part of the reorganization of the Ratanakosin Island, the BMA also trimmed bushes and trees around Tha Tien and Tha Chang piers to improve the landscape. According to an international study, Thai students are inexpert at computer skills and knowledge of information technology. The claim was made by the Institute for the Promotion of Science and Technology, or IPST, which explained that the study, the International Computer and Information Literacy Study, or ICILS 2013, assessed skills in computer and information technology in grade 8 students from 20 participating nations. Thailand had randomly selected 198 schools nationwide to take part in the student assessment. The study found that Czech students performed best with 553 points, followed by Australia with 542 points. Thailand scored 373 points, which was not far from the lowest-ranking participant on the scoreboard, Turkey, at 361 points. The IPST suggests that the factor affecting the performance of Thai students is the basic infrastructure of information and communication technology, social affairs, and the economy, which affect the accessibility to computers and information media. It added that one other essential element preventing Thai students from effectively learning computer and information technology skills is the existing education system that offers knowledge but not the implementation of learning nor analytical skills. The Institute thus urged the government to promote education reform to the national agenda. And Kasikan Research Center has estimated that foreign tourist arrivals will likely drop by nearly 6% due to political uncertainties early this year. Kasikan Research Center has estimated the number of foreign tourists at 25 million this year, a 5.8% year-on-year drop. This year's foreign tourist market is expected to generate 1.1 trillion Thai baht in revenue, whereas that of 2013 was recorded at 1.2 trillion Thai baht. The center also said political stability, the domestic economies of target countries, particularly China, Russia, and the European Union, as well as safety and security measures for tourists, would play a key role in the recovery of the Thai tourism industry. The northern province of Lampang will hold a series of events beginning from the end of November to promote the city as a new tourism attraction for visitors. According to Governor Thanin Supasan, the series of tourism events is kicking off with following the trail of Luang Por Kasem Khemako, the revered monk of Lampang, heralded by the Lana-style parade on November 27th through 29th. Meanwhile, the province will concurrently hold the Lampang Cowboy Extreme Show and exhibition on November 28th to 30th. Mammoth Tourism Festival will also be held on the same days by the Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand's Mammoth office. The final event, dubbed Lampang Ceramic Fair, will be held between the 29th of November and the 10th of December. The series of events is aimed to introduce and promote new destinations together with existing key tourism destinations in order to attract more visitors to Thailand. The central province of Uthai Thani has kicked off its third bicycling tour with more than 1,300 cyclists joining in. The tour kicked off at a park in Thaptan district. Cyclists joined a 50-kilometer and a 100-kilometer event, during which they had the opportunity to visit many places, such as the ancient city of Bangkok Chang in Sawang Arom district, and tourist attraction spots including Patawi Hill, as well as a reservoir close to Wangrom Klao Dam. The tour is the brainchild of the National Council for Peace and Order and the government, aimed at promoting bicycling among youths and adults as a choice of exercise and also a sustainable and environmentally friendly means of tourism. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Before our quick break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The fourth core value: seeking direct and indirect knowledge and education.
Detecting plastic dumping and waste burning, toxic waste spill, contamination.
Don't let your waste strike back. Put trash in its place. Think when you throw.
Faithful Buddhists are invited to donate to the building of a huge Buddha statue known as Praputta Metta. It's to be constructed at Tepratown Temple, Soidao, Jantaburi. With a 20,000 baht donation, the donor's name will be engraved on the foundations of the statue. Those wishing to contribute may make their donations at the Royal Thai Embassy or at the Consulate General in each country, 7-Eleven convenience stores and stores with counter service signs, Krung Thai Bank, Siam Commercial Bank or Bangkok Bank. Please contact the phone numbers shown for more details.
Welcome back to Newsline, and it's time for our ASEAN and Beyond news. Hundreds of people from various states in Myanmar gathered at the Myanmar Peace Center in Yangon yesterday to call for peace and justice after the Army's deadly attack on an insurgent military academy, which left 23 people dead. The 23 cadets were killed last Wednesday when a shell hitting the training center on the outskirts of Lhasa, the Kachin Independence Army capital on the border with China in Kachin State. Myanmar's army said that a deadly artillery attack on an insurgent military academy had been intended only as a warning strike. Wearing black and carrying flowers, people, mainly youths, walked to the Peace Center in Yangon, calling for an investigation into the attack. The attack comes as representatives from various ethnic armed groups prepare to meet military officials for the next round of negotiations on a nationwide ceasefire, which the government has said it wants before next year's election. And in our international news stories, residents of central Japan yesterday began going through the rubble and cleaning up their damaged homes after a 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck late on Saturday, while China reported 4 deaths when a 6.3 magnitude quake hit the nation on the same day. In Japan, no fatalities have been reported so far, but at least 39 people were reported injured and at least 7 severely. A national police agency official said the quake destroyed 5 houses in Hakuba village, host to ski jumping and other events during the 1998 Nagano Winter Olympic Games, but that trapped villagers were all successfully rescued. Meanwhile, in China, rescue workers reported 4 killed when a 6.3 magnitude earthquake hit Kangding County in southwest China's Sichuan province, also on Saturday. About 600 soldiers and militiamen have been dispatched for earthquake relief operation in Kangding on Saturday night. Currently, water, power, and telecommunications services are provided as normal in the country. And a line of classic and vintage cars rolled into Pakistan's capital, creating an unusual sight. Around 50 vintage Alfa Romeos, Austin Healey's, Mini Coopers, Mercedes, BMWs, Ford Thunderbirds, Mustangs, Chevrolets, Cadillacs, Fiats, and Buicks, among others, drove through the streets of Islamabad. The cars, many of which date back to the 1940s to 60s, began their journey in the southern port city of Karachi on November 12th as part of the 5th Vintage and Classic Car Club of Pakistan Cross Country. They are driving across the country, covering a distance of around 1,483 kilometers to finish at Peshawar on Saturday. The rally's purpose was to provide an opportunity for people to showcase their cars. The club has organized vintage motoring events for its members for the past 12 years in Karachi. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT, and you can check out our website at timenews.prd.go.th/newsing. We're saying goodbye today with a field of blooming lotuses in the Konsawon province. Have a good day. I'm Sandra Han. It's Saha. สวัสดีค่ะ